Coming up next on Sledhead 24/7, a combo platter of motocross, snowcross, and big-time fun as we share the story of the snowbike class and meet a father and son snowbike team with a history of world championships. What's the latest news from Ski-Doo? The evolution of the snowmobile engine continues with a new power plant that rips and roars. Imagine the job description. Race snowcross for a living. Travel the nation in a $1 million rig with the latest in sled technology. Meet a 17-year-old racer for Polaris, living this dream. It's early, but we've got a few nominees for the epic GoPro shots of the year. And find out what the world's greatest snowcross racers are learning from their GoPros. Hang on, Sledhead 24/7 starts right now.
Hey everyone, welcome to Sledhead 24/7. I'm your host, Chelsea Scorich. I'm hanging out this weekend at the ice sock races, checking out the brand new class to the series. That is the snowbike class. Now, snowbikes bring together the best of the dirt bike world and the best of the snowmobile world into one super awesome mega machine. Let's take a look.
The world's greatest snowcross racers have a new reason to feel the need for speed this season. A new race class this season. It's 1 part dirt bike, 2 parts snowmobile. And as we like to say, it's completely fun. AMSOIL Championship Snowcross, powered by Ram, welcomes the snowbike class.
Here you see the number 36, Dave Fisher.
He puts her into gear and we are racing! For the first time ever, the snowbike final goes into turn 1.
5:15, that sled out early on. Mick Olson trying to work his way around.
So riding the snowbike, you know, on and off the track, you know, it's a little bit different to ride it from the deep snow to the hard packed snow. But once you're out on the track and there's so many variables and different things, it's a definite rush on the snowcross track.
David Fisher is one of the young up-and-comers on the national snowcross scene.
The number 36, David Fisher!
It was awesome. You know, this track, it's unreal how rough it is, and especially on these snow bikes, it doesn't do it any justice. It looks like we kind of a bunch of Squidwards a little bit, because we're definitely having to really ride hard on this, because you never know what's going to happen.
Number 36 has the right stuff to be number 1 in the snowbike class. David has the strength to muscle the snowbike around, and he proved that in round 3 and 4 in snowy
That's become
Colorado.
kind of a craze again.
That's Fisher, boy. I heard him saying earlier, I got so much pull on this uphill. He said this thing is just a beast on the uphill. Well, he demonstrated that.
It's going to be his. He sees the checkered flags. And
Flying, but you know, me and Wes started battling it out, and then something happened, and you know, now we're here, so can't complain.
Who would you like to say?
David comes from a family that has a great tradition of racing. His proud pops is none other than Sledhead's Jeff Fisher. Fish won a world championship on the water. That's right, Big Fish can float and fly and is a world champ in snowmobile watercross. But today, Fish is happy out of the water and on the snow.
Where I see the biggest difference is when we get on the snowcross track. A snowmobile can take the big hits, can take the big dished out bumps, where the bikes, because there's such a long wheelbase between the track and the ski, it's tough. You get down in those holes that you want to stuff in. They take a lot of upper body strength to ride because you're just constantly fighting the looseness of it. Now you get on the hard packed trails and get in the powder, it's a lot easier to drive. You can steer, lean, and it makes it so much easier.
So racing a bike on a snowcross track, there's a ton of different variables. You know, lap after lap, the track changes. You never know exactly what it's going to be like. The snowcross sleds can definitely take a little bit more of a beating than the bikes can. You got to make sure you're on your A game. You can definitely tell the difference between a sled and a bike. The sled, you're able to just pound through bumps and not really worry about making sure you're totally accurate on your landings. But the bikes, you gotta be very accurate. Make sure you're landing everything right on the gas, because you definitely can't stuff it in too hard or you're going over the bars.
Network TV has picked up on the snowbike class craze. And why not? The combo platter of snow and speed is compelling.
What is the future of snowbike in your opinion?
I think it's going to be huge. I think, we get a lot of these guys, from California that are coming out and trying it, and I think they're really helping the industry out to get it promoted, and I think ISOC is doing such a great job with it. And
Racers will live for this moment. And as Steve McQueen proudly said, racing is life. Anything before or after is just waiting. And in the snowbike class, there is very little waiting. Time to go green.
Joining me now is Matt Vancook from Woody's Racing. Now, Matt, you know the snowbike from top to bottom. Talk a little bit about the makeup of a snowbike.
Basically your stock 450 dirt bike. We put a track kit on it. This one's a Camso kit. And you bolt that on and you're ready to come run this series. A few motor mods to get up in the run in front, but it's pretty basic. The guy can get into it pretty easy.
When Sledhead 24/7 returns, discover how network TV coverage has been upgraded by this little camera, the GoPro. And meet Juddy's All-American Boys, a team of Polaris racers who are like family off the track. But on the track, it's WFO. Back in a flash. But first, here's today's AMSOIL Tech Tip.
Different than a stock snowmobile, snowcross racers, especially the skidoos, use what's called a slipper gear. And what that is, it's a mechanical gear with friction plates in the side of it that'll actually give a little bit when you land and hit real hard, so you don't break a chain and you don't break a belt. And those are the worst things that could happen to a racer out there. One of the problems is if you're using a non-quality oil, is that those friction discs start getting grit inside of them and they bind. It no longer becomes a slipper gear, it becomes a stuck gear. If you want problems with your bottom slipper gear, use ordinary oil. If you don't want problems with a situation like this, use AMSOIL. It solves the problems.
Sledhead 24/7 is brought to you by AMSOIL. Protect your weekend. By Polaris. Terrain domination. Arctic Cat. Share our passion. Skidoo Snowmobiles. What matters is what's next. FXR. World-class outerwear. And by Ram Trucks. America's longest lasting pickups.
Welcome back to Sledhead 24/7. I'm hanging out in the pits, hanging with the riders, checking out their trailers. Now, one of the things that racers love to use is a GoPro. Now, GoPro is making it easier and easier to capture awesome footage. With the GoPro 5, the upgrades continue. Let's take a look.
This little camera has had a huge impact on all of power sports. Roughly the size of a cell phone. The startling images and ease of use have made the GoPro the go-to POV camera. You can see the GoPro in all aspects of snowmobiling, but it's really made an impact in the network TV coverage of AMSOIL Championship Snowcross. Bringing race fans much closer to the action.
Basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to capture angles using GoPro cameras that the average cameraman isn't going to be able to do and that the average fan is not going to be able to see for themselves. So I'm trying to get helmet mounted cameras, I'm trying to get cameras on sticks, I'm doing some time lapse up from the rafters, things like that. I'm just trying to get the unique angles that most people won't see.
But all GoPros are definitely not created equal. The constant upgrades to the GoPro 5 are a clear sign that the future has arrived.
One of the features with the new GoPro Hero 5s is a telemetry feature where it uses GPS data to track speed, elevation, G-force, and it actually will show you a GPS track of where the rider is going. So if you have a rider on the track, you're going to see them where their position is on that track. And it's a really cool technology, and we're trying to utilize that for some of the lap of the day footage and also get some riders to just give some perspective to the kinds of forces that they're experiencing, the speed that they're going at, and it's a really fun thing to try to work with.
Most racers use GoPro, and not just for super cool shots. Turns out you can learn plenty of racing and riding technique from the GoPro.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see a little bit where you're going and what line you take, and you can hear the sled if it sounds good, if it pulls good, and yeah, you can take in a lot of stuff if you use it the right way.
You know, the new GoPro actually shows you how fast you're going, you know, like what your speed is coming in and out of the corners. You know, if you can figure out what your best lap was and then go out there and see how fast you're going and, you know, see where your lines was and try to do that same thing every lap.
It's early, but we already have some candidates already for the best epic and simply amazing GoPro shots of the season.
Tim Tremblay wiping out during the first snowcross event this season, and so it was a helmet-mounted cam, and I got to see him kind of take a tumble and then run back to the sled and get on and take off like a true professional. The second was in Canterbury. I had a camera right on the edge of the track, and somebody came and just took it right out. It shattered the case, but the camera was fine and the footage looked awesome.
Just using my GoPro to get an up-close and personal look here at the Christian Brothers sleds. One thing about GoPro though, does anybody ever look good when they go to mount that GoPro? Take a look at some of our guys. Honestly, there is no filter to save them. We'll be back with more Sledhead in a jiffy.
You're good.
Still ahead, behind the scenes with Team Judnick and a 17-year-old phenom who's already the next big thing in snowcross. And the latest news from Ski-Doo and a power plant that's sure to scratch your itch and need for speed.
Welcome back to Sledhead 24/7. We are here in the Warner Racing trailer, and it's no better place to take a look at our next topic, and that is the evolution of the Ski-Doo engines. So gearheads, take a look.
So Ski-Doo came out with the new 850 E-Tech for 2017, and when I first saw this snowmobile last year, it was a wow factor. It was like, holy cow. The engineering team has been doing a lot of work and a lot of R&D testing on this motor.
You know, I had a chance to ride the 850 motor last season in a prototype form, and now we're getting out and riding them this season in production form, and there's no change. They're awesome. The power they have, it's like having a mod snowmobile in a stock form and warranty.
The challenge of centralizing the mass have been tackled mainly by engineering because it's a question of design. The most important step was to centralize the engine, but also to make the engine narrower, to have a narrower body, but also to centralize the mass even much closer to the center of rotation.
We wanted to have a tight engine, okay, that does not exceed the weight of the current 800R. So this one item, okay. We wanted more power, okay, and we wanted more reliability. So to push the current 800 with plus 10 horse will be easy, okay? But to push this to plus 10 horse at 800 cc and give it also a longer durability, this would have been a stretch that we did not want to take, okay? So we did prefer to go 850 to be conservative on the power displacement ratio and increase the durability and keep the good fuel consumption and oil consumption of the 800.
But if you go back, in 2003 when we introduced the REV, we centralized front to back. Now with this REV Gen 4, we centralize left to right. It seems simple, but it was a big challenge for the team because you had a kind of a wide engine that you had to fit it. So we had to move it, but it moves everything around. But the outcome of all that, it gives you a very sharp turning sled, very agile and well balanced. It's not unbalanced left to right, it's well balanced on the center line.
It is just nuts. I just can't wait to see what the future brings for these snowmobiles, because it's just crazy how much better and how much they progressed in the mountain segments that are just awesome.
We're going inside the trailer at Judnick Motorsports, hanging out with a lucky young racer who found out what he loves to do and what he loves to ride. Polaris. Stay tuned.
Sledhead 24/7 is brought to you by Amsoil. Protect your weekend. Stud Boy. Traction with an attitude. Straight line performance. Ziegler Cat. Exceptional service backing the best equipment. The U.S. Air Force. Aim high.
Welcome back to Sledhead 24/7. We are hanging out in the pits at an ISOC race. Now, the life of a pro racer is a lot of work, but it's also a lot of fun. And nobody knows that better than Scott Judnick and his 3 All-American boys. On his team, he's got Ross Martin, the veteran, Jake Angove, and Nick Lorenz, the new kid on the block. Now, Nick Lorenz, he's got a lot to prove racing in the trailer.
Getting ready for a race. Just another day at the office for Nicholas Lorenz. But what an office. $1 million rig is his home for the season. The latest technology, along with the best mechanics in the business standing by.
I can hang it out pretty good and put in some fast laps and make some good passes, I guess. Pretty fast, a clean rider, and smooth talker, yeah.
This is between teammates, Jake Angove. There comes Nicholas Lorenz underneath. Angove's got the line. Lorenz backs off.
Nick is a proud member of Team Judnick, one of the legacy teams in all of motorsports. Nick lucked out at 17. He's already rubbing shoulders and learning from some of the best racers in the game.
It's definitely a blast to work with Nick Lorenz and Jake. We have a good time, you know, we train together in the summer, and then all winter long we get to hang out, have fun, and race snowmobiles. I just tell them to go out there and just stay focused, and it's only one race, so give it your all, and if it doesn't go your way, you got next weekend.
He wants more points. Interesting when the teammates...
Team Judnick has earned a reputation for being a class act, and it all starts at the top with the leadership of team owner Scott Judnick.
There's a lot of ribbon going on, you know, the old guy and the new kids coming in, and you know the kids trying to push Ross out, and that's the joking that goes on, but it's a lot of fun and definitely brings a great vibe because you got a good mix. You know, you got the veteran who still has more podiums than those other 2 guys, so that's pretty exciting.
Around the Judnick trailer, plenty of activity, but also a real sense of family.
Every day, Colleen Judnick makes the best food in this trailer. That's what keeps me going. Without it, I don't know if I could survive.
No, he's not that tough on her. He's a heck of a rider, and he has a bright future ahead of him here.
But when Nick and the rest of the team get back on the track, it's clear. It's all business. And one of the most challenging parts of the business of racing can be found on the starting line.
Oh, it's crazy. Just adrenaline's going. Just hoping you can get that start and you're on the light every time. It's just a crazy feeling. You don't feel it every day.
And they're racing in Deadwood. Into turn 1 they go.
Just winning. That's mainly what goes through my head on the line.
Nick is lucky for many reasons. He's already found out what he loves to do, and he's already discovered the perfect sled and a perfect fit, a Polaris.
I don't know, the sled works awesome for me because we get good starts. They handle really good through the rough stuff, and they're kind of like a dirt bike, and I grew up riding dirt bikes my whole life, so it definitely fits my style, and I love it.
And they're racing in Shakopee, Minnesota. 15 sleds into turn 1 and a big hole shot right in the middle.
It was just kind of a go all out to the last lap. I mean, the top 3 was running amazing, and like our intensity was up there, and we were all battling. And it was definitely a great last lap for me.
While Nick is only 17, he's mature way beyond his years. Nick understands the responsibility to race and to represent, and he's also ready to step it up.
It's definitely trying to find the smoothest lines, the fastest, and if you have a bad start, go through the pack, make passes as quick as you can. The feelings are just crazy, emotions, good, bad. Most of the time we're hoping to have some good emotions, some wins, and it's definitely awesome.
Well, that's a look at our All-American boys. That's all the time we have today for Sledhead 24/7, but make sure you check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and we're always live at sledhead24-7.com. Get out on those trails, have fun, and ride responsibly.
On the next Sledhead 24/7, a destination ride to Hayward, Wisconsin, a classic Northwoods ride with more than 600 miles of trails, a dedicated staff of groomers, and plenty to do after a day in the great outdoors. We all want that one-of-a-kind sled, right? We'll show you how to customize your Polaris. And time for another Ram road trip. Those stories and more next week on Sledhead 24/7.